Beautiful. Yeah, first I thought it would be just a good opportunity to come and probably the thing tonight is just to show what's available, the accreditation, the Coach AFL platform, the Rookie Me platform. I suppose a lot of the questions I get asked about, what are resources, how do I get up, I'm coaching this team, being in regional areas sometimes not getting access to, say, a lot of the elite coaching or the elite resources. But probably the way everything's going now is to be online, and we want to really make sure that the online presence is innovative, interactional, and be able to be adjusted to everyone's needs. So I'll just go through just a bit of information, but after that, for everyone online and here, just to ask, let's have a chat about what's applicable, any questions, happy to talk for whatever. So I'll just run through just a bit of information about what sort of coaching is looking like, the resources and the platforms. Pretty much sort of gone over. I said the coaching, any customer service stuff, coaching AFL and myself. This is sort of the way it's getting streamed now. Is the coaching philosophy is trying to be a national. So regardless of New South Wales, Victoria, WA, we're trying to have a national stream coaching, so everyone's getting the same information, resources. So it's not going to be, one state does this, one state, and it's all sort of mixed. So hopefully it streamlines, accreditation, education, philosophies, all that stuff. So if people do move from state to state, if they come up here, get away from Victoria like some of us do, you can come up here and the whole terminology and the whole program is pretty much streamlined. So a big thing this year is planning a junior coaching curriculum roadshow. So we'll run that through the state, really targeted at junior coaching. The other thing is developing a coach development system and training program for each state. So hoping to, the best way to learn as a coach is on the job, so to have some mentoring and on the job coaching and feedback system to be able to see how people are going. And then, as I mentioned, really improving our online platform to Coach AFL, making the dashboard on there. I don't know if you've been on there recently, just to make it a little bit more streamlined and interactive and user friendly. So the accreditation process. So what's going to happen? Every 12 months, you've got to get on. You've got to redo this. So you log in your profile if you haven't got one, pay a fee, do the code of conduct, and then you just complete the accreditation module, which I did the other day. It takes about 15 minutes. It's pretty easy, and it's actually not a bad little thing to go through. Just refreshes stuff and what's going on and what's sort of modern take on some coaching stuff. So that process has to be done every year, regardless if it's level 1, level 2, level 3. You got to keep redoing it every year.
What makes a great football coach at any level? A great football coach has a positive coaching philosophy. They plan with purpose, relate well to players, and communicate effectively in teaching fundamental skills of football. By working on the skills and techniques in this online training sessions, you'll be on your way to coaching better.
So when you get in there, you go through some stuff. It's go through different things on concussion, on how to train game day. So it's actually not a bad little resource, little thing to do. So part of your membership, as I said, you got your own online coaching profile. There's heaps of resources on there. So much stuff. And that's there's heaps of resources on there, articles, podcasts, just different things. You get your accreditation program. As I said, the junior coaching curriculums get rolled out. The Rookie Me platform, not sure how many are familiar with that. I'll run through that a bit later. That's great for setting up sessions, training drills, all that sort of stuff. State workshops we're doing tonight. Then tackle your feelings stuff. That's going to be a mental wellness program designed for coaches, and that's going to get rolled out this year. And I said you got a few other resources and that to go with it. So the Rookie Me platform, as I've mentioned, with training drills. I'll go through it later on, but it can be really specific. Say, if I want to work on an attacking, kicking drill, or want to do this, it can put the drill up. You can change how many numbers you got, all this sort of stuff. So it's a really good tool to use. It's accessed by your Coach AFL. So once you log into your online account and you've done everything, that resource will come up for you to access. And there's a premium upgrade option available. I'm meant to do that upsell, but free one's actually not too bad. So it's better. Give you a rundown of what it looks like.
Coaching has its rewards, but also has its challenges. So thank you for taking this support. To assist the coaching community further, we've decided to introduce you to the official coaching technical department. We're looking to online coaching platform. Our coach hosts extensive online videos, coaching tools, and education information in one way. This season, coaching
So I'll go through that after this. So this is going to be this is sort of the concept of what the platform will look like updated. So it just makes it a little bit more visual and user friendly. So this is what it's probably getting developed at the moment. It's a bit clunky at the moment, so just make it look a whole lot better and a lot easier access to everything. Here's some of the online modules there available already on the site. So there's some pretty good stuff there. Yeah, stuff to do to always just keep, and it's always getting updated. So it's going to be pretty contemporary and up to date in terms of stuff the content that's going there. So the resources, this will be the updated stuff. So you'll be able to listen to some podcasts, articles, webinars, videos, modules, courses to do, everything like that. So everything's pretty accessible. So this is just a junior coaching curriculum sneak peek. Actually, I've got it here, so I'll show you anyway. But it's actually really good. Some really good manuals there. It goes from ages 7 up to 13. So has all some drills, sessions, a whole heap of information and resource for really targeted at the junior space. Yeah, it's rationale behind that. As I said, we'll be able to send this out anyway. And, as I mentioned before about the tackle your feelings, this is a mental health program that's really designed at coaches and coach administrators and everything about how to act, deal, and all that sort of stuff. So this is going to be rolled out this year. So there'll be definitely one up here, and then there's online modules and stuff for that. So we know it's a really big focus across all industries now. So it's actually a pretty exciting program to really target coaches and heads of the clubs how to deal with it. There's a lot put in the players' space, but what about the coaches and stuff that they have to deal with? They are human as well, and got a whole lot of things to deal with. So that's an exciting project that we'll roll out this year. Just some links and resources, but that's about it on that. I will go through. Stop sharing. Just go through Here again. Okay, so this is the junior coaching curriculum manual. So this particular one's aimed at level 6, 11 and 12-year-olds. So it's pretty good. This has what it's all about, what the reasoning is. That might make it easier. The philosophy behind the whole program and everything. And as I said, this is a national program. So everyone's trying to streamline and make everything national wide, so everyone gets the same opportunities, same resources, everything like that. So there's some really good information here. Particularly if you're stuck, or particularly if you've got coaches that might be new to the game and are unsure what to do, to be able to just give them some resources. Puts in the phases of the game, some glossary. So there's a wealth of information here. So this is just a quick little, gives you some sessions, can give you what a whole 10-week schedule can be. So it can give you some really good information to help out there. As I said, we'll send this around, so you'll be able to get access to this. And here's just some sessions and everything like that. So, that's an example one, how they break it down, gives you real key points, what to look for. So, sessions as I'll send that out so you can all get it and have a really good look at. The last thing I'll go through before I open it up to the floor. There we go. So, share screen again. Okay, so you log on to your Coach AFL platform. You come in. I said this is going to be revamped, this whole dashboard to what I showed before, but up the top you've got some resources, the mental health and tackle your feelings, and then you've got the rookie me. So just click on that and that'll take you through to the rookie me. Everyone online to see that. Is that all good? Thumbs up there.
One that's Charles Huey, apparently.
Hit me.
I think so. So, yeah, don't worry about that.
Yep. So then it comes up to, this is what comes up a whole heap of drills. So this is just the free version. There's 161 activities found. So you can really tailor it to how you want. So if you go over to filters, this is for senior, it can be junior, depends on when you log into this, you can stipulate what you are, if you're a junior coach, senior coach, and it can sort of give you really specific to the area. But then you can say, oh look, I want some attacking strategies, and what skills do I want to look at? I don't know, it could be handballing, okay, and then it will generate. Here we go. Gives you all these sorts of drills. So you go off 3. Well, I like this one, 3v2 lane handballing. You can click on that. So it gives you an overview of what it looks like. So if you go down, you can go view steps, and it can take you through step by step, the equipment setup, the player setup. So it runs through everything like that. So then if you come down here, and when you go, and you can create your own team and colours, and you can play around all that fancy stuff if you want. But you can go, well, how many players have I got? Well, I need to change that. Like tonight, I'm only going to have 22 players in it. So turn up, save, and what it does is it will change for that drill what you need. So it's down the requirements. I need 8 bibs, 12 cones, two footies. You might need 2 coaches. A third of an oval, minimum requirement, stations, and then you can go, okay, what's the learning outcomes? Come down here, isolated advantage, handballing, click on that, and this gives you a little synopsis of what it is. You can go, what are the coaching points? you can run through what the coaching points are, so what to look for, you know, what to ask, all this sort of stuff, and then you can pin whatever points you think are relevant that you want to emphasise to your group coming up. So it does all the work for you basically. So you can go to the learning outcomes by that one gives you fast ball movement. What's the coaching points? Same thing. So.
Can you do like you would plan 20 sessions a year?
Yep, so that's a drill. So up here, I can go to sessions, and then you can plan sessions. So these are just draft ones. So session one, we want to do an attacking session. It's going to go for 80 minutes. You click on, this is just the draft one, okay, and it breaks it down for you. Yeah, kicking in threes, 15 minutes, outnumbered handball grid, pairs, fundamental island. So that, yeah, it runs through a session for you. You can click on that to see what it is. It gives you description, drill, what you need, all the equipment. So it tailors it to what you want. So the way you go back to that, just go to sessions, go, I want to create a new session. You start from scratch, or you can build templates in all that and use all the resources, change the colors, everything like that. So it's a pretty good tool to, especially if you're stuck, or as I said, you got coaches at your club that might, they're only sort of new to the game. I know that's up here, you know, there's not a lot of people that have, you know, been brought up with AFL that to say, well, I'm not sure I'm coaching the under 12s and what do I do? You can get access to this if they're level 1 anyway, and they've got access to the Coach AFL platform, access to 161 drills, and you can sort of tailor it. So have a play around in your lunch break or whatever it is, just flick around, see what works. It tells you what the outcome, or what do you want to achieve? What do you want to achieve out of this drill? So it's a pretty good tool. So they're relaunching it in February. So just
when Ryan was setting that up, and he just said in there, you know, as he's putting in the numbers, I've only got 22 coming to training tonight. Is that a common problem most people have to deal with?
But you can run it down to 12. You can run it down to 2 if you wanted to. So it has a whole glossary section, everything like that too. So it's a really, and best you just go and then play around. And there's tutorials on this how to use it properly, everything like that. So I'm just giving you a quick little snapshot to say this is available when you sign up, get your accreditation, which you've got to do every 12 months. These sort of resources are available.
One of the things I did notice with it when Ryan was sort of just showing me some stuff earlier is sometimes the drills will go, you know, 2 or maybe even 3 coaches, which again, we know you don't always have. You know, my suggestion would be don't dismiss that drill straight away. Just, you know, have a look into it in more depth and see what they actually want the coach to do, because it might just be a coach receiving the ball and handballing to someone running past. So the coach is probably a pretty loose term in that sense. And it might just be a parent standing on the sidelines you can grab, or another player out of the drill who's not immediately involved. So don't dismiss those drills because it says you need more than 1 coach. You can probably fudge your way through that to a large degree.
Yeah, I think it gives you a really good platform to work off. So. All right, that's sort of pretty much all formality I wanted to sort of show and explain to everyone. Any questions or anything? I'll open up the floor to everyone needs, or any questions online. Yeah, they get it. So the rookie media in February, they're going to relaunch it. So I think they're going to add some, make it. I don't know what they're going to do. They haven't told us exactly what it is. What's that? The old
Rookie media.
Oh yeah, it's going to be an updated thing. So you'll log in and do the updated one. It'd be very similar to this.
So if you've done your level 1 for 2021, you should now have access to
Rookie
media.
Yeah,
you can start
away.
using it now.
Yeah, you can start using it
just
now.
means in February there'll be a bit of a different look to it or whatever else. So,
Yeah, a bit like the coach AFL platform. Like log in straight away now, but we'll update it one day. You'll log on and go, oh, nice and new.
Has everybody renewed for 2021 yet? Yeah, so the accreditation is only for the 12 months at foundation coach. You've got to do that every year. You know, you don't have to do the same. You do a lot more in your first year, don't you?
Yeah.
and there's less to be done. It's almost like a renewal, if you like, in years 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. But it is something you've got to do each year.
Yep. So they've changed. I think it was previously 2 years, maybe, or
4 years.
4 years. Yeah. Just because there's all new code of conducts and stuff, the big whole COVID one this year, I suppose, and yeah, the module. So the module is actually not a bad process to go through. Just a bit of a refresher and gets you thinking again. A lot of the stuff's pretty common sense, and you know it.
Any questions from the guys online? You can either sing out or unmute yourself and sing out, or just type it into the chat function if you want.
Good. Any specific stuff? Yeah. So probably the thing we spoke about too, about the level 2, about maybe some people think, well, that's too far a step or too hard. It's not, in a way. It's sort of getting revamped now. As half of it's going to be done online anyway, and then the those face-to-face workshops are probably going to be not just all in Sydney as well. So there'll be probably one run up here if there's level 2 and level 2. So and part of that is some face-to-face, or what we'd like to do is set up these coach developers or coach mentors in each area, and even train up one. So specifically for this area, maybe we train up someone that would be interested in doing that, to train them up to be a mentor. So then, go around to see how people are going, whether you film some of your coaching or your pre-game or post-game or your meetings during the week, and then someone, with myself or someone else or one of our other coach mentors, to be able to just review it and see. That sort of thing. So always I think now with the way you can access videos and everything, to be able to still do it face to face, but not face to face.
Is there an algorithm, like just thinking,
So just before you answer that, so we just got some feedback about people online struggling to hear the questions from the floor. So his question for those of you who are online was about, is there an app version of Rookie Me?
I think there is. I think that's coming out. As I said, to be able to have it on your phone and go, what's my session look like? I'm pretty sure there is. Yeah. The previous question to that was about especially with level 2 or just a face-to-face, or they coach development or mentors, to see when coaches are coaching in real life, to be able to give feedback and provide help there.
So folks, it doesn't have to be a question. What about needs? What do we need up this way? What do you need personally? How can we support you to be the best coach you can?
Players.
It's Matt Crawley, talk to him.
Is the player thing just, I suppose, competing against other sports, or is it just the awareness of it, or? Yeah. Okay. So. Yeah. Okay. So that's more an engagement piece with the community and asking that. And that's probably a good. And I know this area reasonably well. That's probably the biggest thing, to let people know what's going on. And there is obviously in southern New South Wales, it's very strong. Sydney's growing and growing. That's off the back of having 2 elite teams there. But up here, I suppose, it's something to go back to community and participation and say, hey, look, how can we help promote it up here? I think South East Queensland are reasonably strong in that department.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, apart from anything else, I guess South East Queensland's got a lot of expats, for want of a better term, have relocated up there.
Yeah.
You know, and sort of taken the game and grown the game. You know, when you look at the room here, we've got quite a few expats here, and that's still probably pretty instrumental, you know, to our growth and you know, where we've been to date. I mean, look, there's some opportunities, obviously, you know, 3rd of March, there's a pre-season game, Collingwood v Swans out here. You know, we don't know a lot about that yet, but we'll certainly be looking at that. You know, there'll be, you would imagine there'd be a lot of people who would be coming to that because they love AFL, who may or may not know that footy's played here, and we're sort of looking at what options there are to try and really put that in front of them, you know, to let them know there is local footy and try and get them to engage. So for anyone who didn't hear that online, the question was, would that be a prelude to, you know, curtain raiser? I tend to doubt it, Ace, for a couple of reasons. I mean, the first one is that the main game's at 7:10. Any curtain raiser is probably going to be like 4 o'clock or something, you know, which means the guy's going to have to miss at least half a day at work, whatever else. Yeah, it's a Wednesday night. But secondly, you know, with COVID bubbles and all those kind of things, you know, depending on where we're at with COVID at that stage, I wouldn't be surprised if we're told, you know, nobody can be within a book draw of the players, you know, the officials, the umpires, those kind of people, just, you know, because they've got to be, you know, super sanitised environment, whatever else.
They can be very precious.
But you know, I mean, it might be things like some stuff we display on the big screen. You know, one of the things that I would like to look into, and I'm just waiting to get, you know, to find out who it is we need to talk to, is, you know, if you imagine a space out here like this, you know, could we get a setup so that every club has the opportunity to have a 3x3 tent or something there, you know, to be a display of, you know, we're the Northern Beaches Blues, next to we're the Buckingham Lions, we're the Coffs Breakers. You know, maybe, you know, up to you guys how you use that space, but maybe you've got an iPad so you can register someone who comes on the day or what have you. You know, I mean, these are the sorts of things, but so much of that is dictated to us by AFL National about what can and can't be done. So it's us just sort of trying to come up with what can be done, how can we do it, those kind of things. Well, I mean, that's certainly one of the things. You know, I mean, one of the other things that we've been doing for the last few years, you know, with reasonable success, is just trying to get as much as we possibly can in the media. You know, so certainly in season, that's a little bit easier in a sense because we've got a weekly product that we can, you know, hang off of. You know, in terms of results, previews, all those kind of things. This time of year, you know, we're looking for the Angus Andersons of the world achieving something so we can try and get it out there. You know, we're getting some reasonable cut through on that particular front. You know, some of the media outlets, you know, are now, they know they'll get a story from us if we've got a quiet day and they'll ring us. And so we'll find them something to do that. So there's all those kind of things as well. You know, we're just trying to keep getting it out in the public eye. I mean, one of the simple ways that you know, it's often done in other places, but you know, maybe not so much here because of how the councils run the things, is one of the best ways to let people know that you've got AFL is to have a patch of ground with 4 sticks hanging out of one end and 4 sticks hanging out the other end, because people drive past and they know instantly what that is. You know, but summer, you know, for the most part, the posts have got to come down. So that's the sort of challenge. But you know, I mean, one of the other potential things I think we're going to find now will be that, you know, with the way the world is going, the pandemic, all those kind of things, there will be a bunch of people who've holidayed in the region recently, you know, and who've probably just done a year of work on video conference, and are now sort of scratching their heads, going, "Why am I doing a video conference from Sydney for a job that's in Sydney when I could be doing the same video conference from up on the coast somewhere?" You know, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a wave of people who want to relocate. One of the simple things that clubs need to make sure they do, and certainly from Friday they have no choice, is their part of FootyWeb is that from Friday, or when someone logs in after Friday as an administrator, they'll be prompted to update all their contacts. Now, the contacts in FootyWeb feed through to the Play.AFL website. And so Play.AFL is an attempt to be one sort of national thing. You can go in, you can plug in your postcode and it'll tell you who your nearest club is. Now, if you don't update that FootyWeb, if your president moves on, particularly if they move on and they're a bit disenchanted with footy, gets in front of you, ring a me, mate, that's a rego you've just missed. So it's really important to make sure that other stuff is updated.
How's the school engagement in terms of, I suppose, school knowing they play a lot in the schools, or is the newsletters at schools saying, hey, there's the local a local team come play. It's a little bit like the Auskick program, to be able to have a schools competition and have schools competitions play, in terms of the curtain raiser. The best way to engage players is get them at kids. Let's have school, Lightning Carnival out here the day of. It might be at 4 o'clock, but something like that.
Probably feel like with the greatest respect to the guy, because he's an absolute legend of footy club. I mean, Paul Kelly's had his day. It's probably time to rebrand the Rhino Keith Cup.
I don't know about that. What about in terms of finding coaches at your clubs? Is that yeah? Yeah, so
you don't find out as that I think it's just post coming in. That's no loss from the class. Yeah, loss to you. Wow. Generally, the players is sort of interested in being a coach.
Yeah. So for
kids is you get a lot of kids play AFL and you get a lot of kids who play league, uni, basketball, soccer, and they come with their own unique skill set.
Yep.
It's not really sometimes transferable to AFL. So in some ways, it's good to play that a league also looking for talent.
Yeah.
So there's another skill coaches you know stuff starts kids coming with skill set. Sometimes
Did you guys online hear that? So just give me a thumbs up.
So the first part of that for online is, there's a lot of parents and people wanting to coach, but just finding the right one. That's can be a challenge. So hopefully the Coach AFL and the Rookie Me, that gives them enough resources to up speed them. And this problem happens in Victoria as well. Like my son was playing at a club, and the coach and I was sitting there scratching my head, but I didn't say a word. You're saying all the wrong things. But so this is not an issue that's localised up here. This is national. But hopefully giving them resources and making this a national stream program and information at all, everyone gets the same messaging, everyone gets the same education. So if they go, oh, look, I'd love to help out, I'm not sure, look, I'm a bit afraid. Well, if you direct them here, they register. There's a whole heap of information to help up speed. The second part to that comment was about players coming from other sports and that skill set and what I say to that, there's this probably this can be a bit of thinking that there's a textbook way of doing stuff, there's a textbook way of kicking, you've got to work with what that skill is and quite different. And I think kids playing a whole range of sports are actually fantastic and does bring a whole thing. Like basketball's fantastic game I reckon for anything within the congestion stoppage. The basketball guys are phenomenal at that, pick it up really well. Even the soccer, any of that open sort of field game sports. The rugby guys, they bring sensational tackling stuff to that. So don't try and take that skill out of them and harness it. Just sort of work with it a bit and make it fun. So if you've got a lot of kids that are coming from rugby, have a tackling drill at training, make it a bit fun for them. So they go, actually, I'm really good at this, and that'll engage them and maybe get it back. If you've got a kid that's coming from soccer, maybe just do a soccer drill, do something that just engages and makes them, because the whole point of this is let them enjoy it. They want to come to our game because it's enjoyable. Everyone gets to go. It doesn't matter your shape, size, or whatever. Everyone has fun. Everyone can touch the ball, all that sort of stuff. So sort of just work with what you've got in terms of your list or your playing group. That sort of comes to what your philosophy is. Well, what do you want to get out of this? I'm coaching under 14s. we just want to have fun, or I just want to. I've got a whole heap of kids that have come from another sport. I just want to see them be improved from the start of the season to the end of the season. Whether we win, lose, or draw, doesn't matter. I want to see these kids be able to. You couldn't kick or couldn't bounce. By the end of the season, look what they're doing. So you got to really work out what's your purpose for the year, what's your purpose for your playing group, and then design your training around that. Always say, whatever training or drills or programs you're going to design, make sure it's applicable to how you want to play or what you're going to see on the ground. No point just doing long bombing, kicking drills that packs. If you go game day, we want a handball, run through the corridor. Like, if they're not seeing it training or seeing that skill, there's no point doing it. So I feel that helps out a bit.
About the online folks, we got any questions or comments or thoughts, wants, needs online?
Every year we're in school newsletters, but face to face is better. Is that more trying to have getting clinics and that at schools, getting some participation programs, getting to schools?
The moment now,
So Carl, just in case you didn't hear that, so Mark asked the question about can we get into schools? And Carl's was just saying at the moment the answer is no. Wasn't it? Oh yes, sorry, I couldn't hear. They knew. No. So he said the answer is yes. They did some stuff in term 4. I got some bookings for term 1. So at the moment it's business as usual, but again, it's up to whether the schools want us in there or not.
And the Swans.
So the question there is about the Swans when they come here. Will the Swans be doing any activities while they're here? Look, at the moment we just don't know anything about that particular event. And again, the whole COVID bubble. If there's a full-blown bubble in place, they won't be able to interact with anybody from the public, and it may well mean they fly in the morning of the game the Wednesday. The game is 7:10, so they're not going to be finished till 10 o'clock at night. By the time they don't rehab or whatever else, they'll stay overnight, and they might be on the first flight out again the next day. So at this stage, we just don't know what.
Depends if they're depends if they're having a community camp tied in with it.
I think they've got another pre-season game, of course, in the week before against the Giants from memory. So the chance of them coming up here for a week is pretty slim, I would have said.
I suppose, yeah. And that's the challenge. So it's about getting more professional players into schools. I suppose that's the challenge for regional areas. I know the Metropolitan, pretty sure, I'm not sure, Swans used to have team Swans. Every week they'll be, all the guys that weren't working or uni or younger guys, they'll be out in schools every week and going around. But the resources to be able to get the regional, so it's obviously up here, it's out west, it's down south. It's quite a large area, New South Wales, for two teams to. Swans this area, Giants is the big brand that, but for 2 teams, where Victoria, they've got 10 teams, smaller geographically, to be able to access that. So yeah, that's a challenge, and it's always kids love it when the pros turn up and makes a big song and dance.
Look, the reality is, as much as clubs would love players here more often, Cruz and I would love players here more often, because it makes our life easier as well. But the reality is, as Ryan says, when you've got guys who are professional athletes and are training most days, multiple per day, if you can duck down to Bronte and do a session at a school and then be back in time for the session that afternoon at the SCG, that's going to go ahead. When you're talking about guys who have to jump on a plane here you know, and often the flights might not be until 10 o'clock in the morning, you get in a midday, you know, so that you're looking at overnight stay. They're not going to give the all clear to players to miss a couple of training sessions, you know, by being away for a couple of days. Whether that's the Swans, the Giants, any other club, yeah, every club is in the same boat. You know, the other option is, can we look at players who are injured? Well, equally, that, you know, the clubs want them at the SCG to be doing rehab or whatever else, let alone getting on a flight and risking, you know, deep vein thrombosis and all those kind of things. So, you know, yes, we would love it to happen. The reality of them working in a professional environment with us 600 kilometres away, it's pretty much negligible. You know, we ask the question as often as we can, but the reality is no. So, you know, don't sort of hang your head on that.
I suppose one thing that could be done, this whole thing's taught us, which we're doing right now with the coaching stuff, is you stream it into schools. They could be sitting in the club rooms, it could be, you know, their favourite players, and they're streaming it into a classroom and promoting it that way, and that's probably something we could see as an idea. So players, kids do get access to it's just through a screen, which I think we're all starting to be more familiar with. Kids are on devices all the time, right? So it's nothing new for them to see something that's on the screen. So that's
and the Department of Education, you might be aware of this because you'd have been in Victoria at the time. Department of Education, I'm not sure if it was only for public schools available, but when the kids were in homeschooling for that period, did have a couple of sessions. Or one session a week where they had somebody on doing something, and more often than not with someone from sport. So I think from memory, Dolly Florent, I think from memory did one, and then I think it was Nicola Barr from memory might have done one from the Giants. So there were certainly two, and the AFL was the only sport with 2 sessions.
Yeah.
You know, with AFL people. So there's I guess there's a precedent there, and maybe it is something that we can do more of.
It's critical that these workshops are run by AFL level players.
Yeah, so the question online, is it critical these workshops are run by AFL level players? Look, I think it probably
in terms of engaging students, they want to see their heroes. They want to see who's on the TV for that engagement piece and participation piece. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, and even as you know from coaching at SANFL level, you know, the guys at the next tier down aren't necessarily full time anyway. So
nobody
knows. Chance of
Nobody knows. Well, that's so the question. Well, that's the question. The question was, can local players, and that's something I suppose. If as a club, if you want to recruit more players, you've got to do some recruiting yourself, don't you? So I suppose that's the importance of having good administrators, good coaches, people who are really keen in your club. It's getting out there and go, hey, look, we're keen, come down, just have a try. Like, so that's something that's very, very viable, and I'd be highly recommending that. And even with the coach, like the coaching thing, in terms of if parents or someone's interested in wanting to coach, go, yeah, well, this is how you do it, how you get there, how you get some resources for you.
So just on the back of that, we've certainly done that in the past before, specifically when we're doing a program at a school. It's a multiple week one particularly, that is right out of school. So say we're at St Francis Xavier's or Whoopi Public in a 4-week program, we would always tell the Northern Beaches Blues we're there, and we would always encourage someone from the club to come at some point to talk to those kids. So we did it at Mary Hooker Christians in term 1 last year for Sawtell. You know, it's a bit different if it's Bishopsborough College or John Paul College or something like that, where there might be 5 or 6 clubs that could draw kids because of where they live. But certainly if it's a particular school that is right smack bang, those kids are going to go and play at that junior club, we always try and encourage someone from the club, whether it's the president, the secretary, a player, whatever it might be, to come down in a polo there on the day with myself and the staff to promote the local club.
But again, like Matt Anderson was saying about finding the right coach, you know, even though it's only one small interaction, you know, for a short period of time at a particular school, find the right person who represents your club well. You know, don't send in someone who shows up, you know, 4-day grade, they've just dragged themselves out of the pub. You know, they barely string 4 words together. You know, make sure you. send the right person who represents the school well and is, represents the club well, and is the sort of person that, because part of the idea of that person coming is it's someone that the kids and any parents who are there can connect with and go, right, when I make that big scary leap to go to club footy, there's someone there I know I feel like I've got a connection to, I can trust, I know they're going to look after my little angel, and so on and so forth. So make sure you send the right person down who gives that image.
Yeah, it's a way to numbers thing too. Once you get the kids, they follow their peers. Like my son wanted to play rugby league this year, living up here, so I was like, who's taught him that? It didn't come from my mouth, that's for sure. So it's obviously fine what his mates do.
I think he's running to Trent Barty. I'm like, right, rugby league's the game for me. I've got to deal with him at AFL.
It's not a problem to say schools that
well, sorry guys, let me just hold it there for a minute. So happy to have this conversation if this is the most important thing you want to talk about. We've got Ryan O'Keefe here as a coach educator. You guys are a bunch of coaches. I know you desperately want more people to coach, but what do you want and need as a coach? When you walk out on that training oval in the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks to start training, what are the things you're going to be scratching your head about around how do I run, what do I set up, what should I be doing fitness-wise, how much of this should I be doing, where should my focus be here? This guy's the guy to answer all those questions. Don't walk out of here, in 10 minutes time, whenever it is when we wrap up, and get in your car and go, oh gee, I wish I'd asked him about coaching instead of about how to recruit more players.
So it's with that website, and so one of the things we were trying to do, we've got access to your question, which is for each one of the equipment to be able to, time trials,
Yo-yo test.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You do one, all those tests that they have, all that sequence tests that they have on that website too. Is there resourcing available for us as a community of football clubs to be able to access the very expensive some of those time cameras and bits and pieces that NCAS have, like they've already got the girls. So is there a resource available where we can all share that?
So, frontline question is just really around athlete testing, like draft combine type tests, sprint test, vertical leap, yo-yo test, those kind of things?
They're rubbish. Don't worry about them.
Yeah.
To be honest, like the athleticism of a player's, it's a small part of it. The best way is to develop the skills, develop the game awareness. Give me a player that's footy smart and knows the game and got the skills, and you can make him fit. To worry about a yo-yo when it comes to you're talking about even when it's the draft combine, they're not looking at those tests. Like, it might be the one or two players are unsure of it, and they might blow the 3K time trial out of the park. Yeah, well, didn't know you could do that. They know all that stuff. This prime, I've seen a lot of. You can put Usain Bolt out on the field. I bet you can touch the ball. Like, it's fastest man in the world. Like, so all those sort of things in terms of if you just generally want to get their fitness up, just do some running, incorporate the fitness in the drills. That's where I find you get the best value out of it. You can hide the training, but just those level. If you've got a course, a run that in your local area that everyone does, just do that in terms of that yo-yo stuff or the time trial it, and then it's comparable to what you are. But don't make the fitness and the test results a key part of your training, especially in pre-season. I'll be getting the balls out straight away. Get some heaps of small-sided games, make it fun, because those small-sided games, you're working hard. You do 12 months in pre-season, and your first game, you are knackered. It doesn't matter how much running or how much training you've done. It's that football fitness, that game fitness that's really, really relevant.
If for something like NCAS, there is some relevance, because you will have some girls in that program who might be in consideration for a spot in the state team, and the state selectors might want to see much of those girls. So they might want to know what's a sprint like, what's a VO2 like, those kind of things. So there's some relevance there. For club footy level, the amount of stuff you're going to do, like Brian said, if you're doing a sprint test, stop watching. You don't need to be that accurate that you've got electronic light gates to time it down. And even if you're going to do a sprint test, ask yourself, why am I doing this sprint test? If a guy rocks in and does a 20-metre sprint test and it takes him 25 minutes to complete it, are you going to suddenly coach him to be a faster sprinter? Like, do you have that knowledge? Have you got a sprint coach on your staff to train them up? you know, are you actually getting any value out of it? You know, I guess is sort of the question there.
I suppose
The last thing, easy to wrong answer. The last thing is that, you know, from my perspective in our game, particularly here locally, you know, if we hit a shitload more targets, we don't need to be as fit. You know, so if we spend more time working on skills and 10 times out of 10, I can hit crawls from this distance. I don't need to do as much running as I do now. And the reason I'm doing so much running is 7 times out of 10 I hit him, 3 times I turn it over and it's straight back there and I've got to run back there. You know, so spend more time working on skills and you know, your fitness won't be so critical.
Yeah, and I suppose you've got limited time with your players. So what's the biggest bang for buck? Like doing time trialing, is that going to be most beneficial, or is it learning the way you want to play or developing the skills, or just, as again, what your purpose as a coach and how a general base of, if you're generally fit, a general base of fitness, as I said, it makes you be able to, you know, do things and less injury and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, really target what's going to be most best, you know, bang for buck. If all these state academies and all this want to know that they've got the time, they've got the resources, let them worry about that. If one of your players is athletic, they're going to be athletic. It doesn't matter what test they do. They'll pick it up. So.
Couple of questions here.
Yep. Opportunity for less formal development and mentoring sessions for coaches at a senior level. Yeah, well, I suppose this is all junior, senior. It's all coaching's pretty much the same, really, for whatever level. You're sort of just dealing with different fundamental stages. But yeah, if there's senior questions as well, this is all relevant to that. Yeah. Kids from other sports often need skill coaching in kicking. What or where is the current best practice in kicking technique? Oh, this is an interesting one. It's a bit like the golf swing. I say the kicking. Everyone thinks, oh, this is perfect stuff, but your action could be slightly different as long as probably the teaching points for kicking, and you know, the best way to teach it, say, is in goal kicking, because it's a fixed movement, is your alignment. So where's your target? What are you aligned at? Your momentum. So your momentum's all going forward towards that target, and you follow through. So everything goes all in a straight line, but with the kick as well, it's like when your hips come through and at point of contact, it's all square to your target. And if you've got follow through towards that target, generally everything will go toward it. Even the guy from rugby, the kick around the corner, your leg might come out here, but at point of contact, as long as it's square, then you're going forward through to the thing. So they're probably a couple of kicking techniques. As I said, there's a lot of resources on kicking, but you can get quite in depth into it. So it's one of those things with any of those sort of fundamental skills. Don't give too many points when you're kicking and over analyze it, because kid will be over the ball thinking, oh, I've got to put my toe, I've got to follow through, I've got to bend my nail, this and this, and they forget to kick the ball. So it's just, everyone's action is going to be slightly different, but as long as those critical things of, you know, a point of contact is square to the target, momentum and follow through is all in line, then generally you can sort of work with that. And the best thing is to kick the ball. Like, we only got good as kids by about a ball in a hand all the time, and we're kicking it, and you're practicing kicking the ball all different ways. You know, your bananas, torpedoes, just learning to feel the ball on the foot and be able to adjust. So the good kickers can kick any ball anywhere, anyhow, just by just repetitively kicking it and getting that feel, hand to eye, hand to foot motion. So that's probably the best thing for the kicking aspect. If you really want to get down to the biomechanics of it, there's plenty of resources on that.
Just on that, the company touching some of the things will be issues there. So the main focus will drop on they say that goes but some of them and it's just I don't know and most of the time it goes straight.
Yeah.
So you work on change that a little bit, or continue on
Yeah, you give it, so I don't know if you heard that online, is about the kick can be quite awkward. You're looking at it, sort of don't know how to describe it, but it sort of is going straight. How do you work on that? Well, maybe just focus on one thing for them to prove. So if you think their ball drop is like they're throwing and it is all over and it is probably too far away from the norm, then just work on ball drop. Just say, look, make sure you drop the ball in line with your leg and a little bit lower, and try and have it pointed. And as I said, just getting that repetitive feel. And as you get more kicks under you, you feel that. As I said, a good ball, I could throw the ball up in the air like that and just whack it, and I could hit the target if I wanted to. So that's not correct technique, but that's just years of learning how to foot on ball and feeling comfortable on that. So as I said, don't overcoach them or overcorrect them, but just might be just one point just to get them to focus on. If they're hitting the target all the time, why change it? Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I've really seen any players that I played with all, and from Paul Kelly, he had a bit of an awkward kick, but eventually he was really, Brett Kirk, he wouldn't be able to kick it out of his ballway, but he'd hit a target every time, and he was quite hunched over. And then I had to say, like Nick Malachevsky, you look at him and go, oh, beautiful kick, but he missed the target 8 out of 10 times. Like, so it's
engaging, kicking,
yeah. So his kick's not improving, and just
sounds good, but someone else to engage with you. 10 minutes of kicking,
yeah, look, there's many options you could do to help engage a player or improve their kick. Best thing is some sort of competition, like, and not against someone else, but against themselves even. So just why don't you set up a target for them? 20 kicks, let us know how you hit them, and then it said when you're hitting something, you're putting, you can sort of get a feel of, oh yeah, that felt well, that missed. Just it's repeat, and they'll work out, oh, I'm missing the target all the time, what's going on? Like, then it sort of self triggers. But if you just keep telling someone what to do, eventually, but just go, all right, there's a target over there, here's 20 balls, that's right, how many do you hit? And then that might be a warm-up drill for everyone. Just you can set up some cones or poles, or, I like to use the goalposts and set up a competition and just go, all right, you got first one to hit the goalpost five times. Once you've done that, you can go to the next station or something like that. Kids get in there, start rushing, and they try to kick it, and then they miss it, and it's goal. Then you sort of stop and go, okay, well, what's going on? Why isn't anyone hitting it? And then they actually know. And they go, oh, because we're just rushing it, we're not following through, we're just stabbing it. You just end up seeing the technique goes out like this, and you go, okay, well, what do we talk about? Well, alignment, there's your target, momentum and follow through. Let's take your time. I didn't say you had to do it in a certain time period, just you had to target 5 times. And then concentrate. And so just to give some that on real-time feedback as well, but let them figure it out a little bit of themselves, but give them a target or a competition to be able to, or an objective, but that's the word, more of an objective to go, right, you've got to hit that target, 10 times before you go in at the end of training or something like that. And they'll work it out. Then if they go, oh, and then you might go, how you going? What are you feeling? Oh, I'm not hitting. I keep missing it to the left. We'll go, all right, let's watch it. They might be veering off to the left, or they might be dropping the ball way outside their kicking leg or something. So then you can sort of give feedback with an outcome result.
So Richard's just put a comment there saying that Cyril Rioli had a target behind the goal training. So that's an example there.
Yep, I did the same thing. Every time for goal kicking, I'd pick out someone in the crowd or a letter on the signage behind there. Just walk to it, kick it, and I was just kicking it out and never even looked at the goals. So, because, you know, little target, you know, little name, little miss.
So I might just quickly go around the folks online. Lukey Matthews, any questions from the caravan, mate? Or any comments? Lukey saying club culture is so important, educating clubs on how to create a positive, inviting environment. Yep,
So that's so true. Good people, good clubs attract good people. Like you want to recruit, or if you got a good club and good people, generally, you know, good people invite good people, and that's definitely important. And it starts from the top, and it's all got to be set by example. And then the word comes out, oh, that club's great, it's good, it teaches kids, it's fun, the kids have balls, it's a good family club or whatever. It's always the best way. Sorry, that talks about the dog.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, and when you may or may not have seen, we've released a strategic plan at the end of last year for the next 3 years for footy in the region. And one of the areas we're focused on is club culture. It's going to be some work we're going to be doing over the next 12 months. But, you know, when you sort of look into club culture stuff, and I know when Ryan was in the Swans, I did a lot of stuff with leading teams and those kind of guys. You know, I mean, club culture isn't what you think your club is. Club culture is how other people perceive it. You know, so when guys like leading teams do it, the first question they ask is, how do other people perceive you? You know, so it's really easy to go, you know, we've got a great family culture. You know, we'll show up here and laugh at the old bloke who gets drunk and rolls down the hill.
Well, the easiest way to judge it is get someone new to come walk into your club within a day, so they can tell you what's this place like. You get the vibe. So it's not that difficult or this mystic. You don't have to get these leading teams. What they do is it's very much common sense and very, very easy to do. It's just about, well, what do you want to stand for as a club or an organisation? What are the behaviours behind the values and then you've got to display it. So I said you might be a club that one of the senior clubs is like, all right, we're in the top division. We want to be, you know, seen as the most professional, you know, organisation in the league. We've got to make sure your behaviours and values match that, and you bring everything back to it. So at training, if you've got people that are turning up late, or I don't know, you have a uniform, they don't wear a uniform. Well, are you professional? Are you trying to be the best elite team in that competition? No. You might be a new club. You go, we want to be the most enjoyable, fun family club going around. Well, if you get there and the kids are training and you make them run laps all the time, or as you said, you got drunk at the bar or something like that. Well, was that related to how you want to be perceived or behaved? So that's how you sort of develop that environment, and you get people in that sort of match or want to toe the line or with that sort of thing.
Mark Plummer, anything from the Sydney Swans Temple that you're in down there?
G'day, Paul.
Yeah, here we go.
All good, mate. Really good.
Go for it, mate.
Yeah, just as Ryan was saying, small games at training, very important. Kicking square to target, all good points, mate. Yeah, so
anything else you want to questions, mate, or anything else we can do to help you, or?
No, not really, mate. Just happy to listen. It's all good.
Great stuff. Thanks, Mark. Richard, anything from your end? Oh, yeah. New England just seems to be needing promotion of the game. Difficulties rise starting back with post December. Promotion, recruitment, those kind of things. Yeah, we can talk about that offline.
As I said, I think for regionals, hopefully sort of talks about having a footy expo coming out to each of the major regional areas to provide it's clinic, tackle your feelings programs, coach workshops, real engagement piece over a weekend. Someone going talks at the moment to run statewide.
Cool. Rod up in Casino, what about from you, Rod? Any questions, anything, any comments you want to throw out there? All good, Rod? Give us a thumbs up, or are you typing something? All good, no worries, thank you. Lukey, thanks mate, thanks for coming, Lukey. Rory, from your point of view?
Look, all really good for me. It's been really valuable. Quick little session, but heaps to take out of it. So, as you said, I'm sure a heap will come up as soon as we get offline, but for now, it's been really good.
What?
Yep.
Okay. And Carl's just sent a message saying he's all good with first session, with more specific sessions once training starts in full. Thanks, PT. So, yeah, I guess if you've got questions, certainly, utilise those resources, Coach AFL.
Yeah, use all the resources. Reach out. I'll be back here. I'll maybe do another one. Probably be back for Easter holidays, school holidays anyway. And then, once games and stuff coming through, things will pop up. So I'll hope to touch base with, we'll come up and do another one sort of mid-season. So it's a little bit more applicable and stuff like that. But I'll get out to some of the games and all that. So mindful of everyone's time.
Yeah. Any last things from here? Anything else people want to say?
When you call people talk and you ask a question, why they answer, or you just call people and just tell them what you want, like what's the better?
To a player, so
you got a group of players,
yep.
You sort of throw that question out and like,
yep.
or do you just tell them what you want and tell them the answer?
So the question here is like when you bring the players in, you got a message you want to say, do you ask them the question of what you're trying to solve, or do you tell them? I think there's time and place for both. During a game, you haven't got much time to tell, but during training and during the week, it's more you ask. So you could have explained the drill, you're running out there and it's just going out of shape. Bring them in and go, okay, what are we saying here? Girls, guys, whatever it is, ask them and they'll sit there. Don't ever say, do you understand? You go, you got that? So they'll go, yep. Everyone go, yep. And then you go, okay, what is it? And they go, all the time. So ask the question, okay, what are we seeing here? What do you think I'm about to tell you? And get them to talk and get them to think about it, get them to solve the problem. Yeah, so, okay, you see this is going wrong, what do you think we should do? Or how do we fix this? Open up, asking questions and get them to come up with the answer. The art of coaching is, what the point you want to get out, or how you want to get it. It's about steering your players towards that, but making them think they come up with themselves. So ideally, I want to get you there, but I'll make you think you get there. It's like you do to your kids. Sort of go, oh yeah, great idea. That's what you want to do. The best thing is, let players think they've come up with, let them be engaged, let them feel empowered. When they feel empowered, they take a bit of ownership, and when things are going, once you've got the team going well, you just sit back. Yeah, your leaders or people which will naturally come out, go, hey, this is not good enough, come on, let's fix it up.
You probably just got to pick your mark a bit too with who you ask that question of. If you've got a kid who's really quiet, really shy, he's going to freak out by you going, what should we be doing here? You're probably better off not putting them in that position. If you've got a kid who gives really long-winded, really all over the place, that you're going to lose 5 minutes of your training session, you might not ask them. But one of the best coaches I've ever seen, was very much an asker of questions, and would ask the question like, why did you do that then, when they did exactly the right thing, and they sort of panic for a minute and go, what have I done wrong? And you go, well, because you've always told us. Exactly, that's exactly what I wanted you to do, and all he was trying to do was reinforce in a different way. They've done exactly the thing you wanted.
Yeah, and it doesn't. Yeah, your feedback to them doesn't always have to be negative or how to improve. What worked well there or stuff like that. So that's sort of engagement during game day. If it's a game going like something's hurting you, that's a tell. You don't have time to sit there and have a debate and what's working out. That's all right. We've got to move the ball that way. You're not switching. You've got to switch the ball. Why'd you go back? That's a tell situation. But during the weeks at ask. Yep. So the question was all the coaches I had, what was my favourite? Look, I think I've been lucky to have a lot of good coaches, even in my junior, before I even got to Sydney. I had a really good coach in Robert Hyde, who was really strict. He knew where he stood with him. He explained it well. He rewarded people that put in the effort. And then you learn from all coaches. And probably had a bad coach in Rodney Eade. He was hopeless. He had no care, and he just belittled, and just wasn't a nice person, to be honest. And then you had Brucey come on. He was really empowered the players. He was a master of making you think that you were good and feel good about yourself. And he's a gift of the gab, like he's a salesman. But you walk out there confident, going, yeah, I can do that. So he did that, and then John, he was really good at engaging people, players. He strictly knew where you were with him. So I think all the good coaches had great relationships with their players and respect. And that's the thing, is that thing with clubs, all that like versus respect. As a coach, not to be sitting above and I'm too good for it, but that respect where they look up to you and they want to listen and they want to learn. I think that's all the coaches I have great respect for them. Yep. So planning sessions is what I did when I was coaching too. Before that, this is what our trainings will look like for the day. These are the drills. Might be 5 drills we're doing. We're doing a handball drill. Why we're doing it? Give that connection. Why we're doing it. We're going to do a handball grid because we want to work on a handball around stoppages on it in the contest. Yep, and even I don't know if you've got a little whiteboard, just go, this is what training is. You've got a bit of a warm up, you run 2 laps, and you can be specific. They can read it, they might not read it. It doesn't matter, but it's a tool or a resource to check. Some kids will be really studious and go, hey, cool, this is going. But then before the drill comes, all right, we're going to do this drill. So it could be, I might forget, they probably will forget, but it might just go, oh yeah, that's right. You know what I mean? You'd walk in and the session's there, exactly, everything's there, the drill, what we're doing, why we're doing it. Then we'd obviously have meeting and video and match up with game plan stuff, but yeah, I even did it with the junior kids, the school academy I worked in. Our session, they'll see the whole session before it's out, and they can look at it and go through it. I was just so that you just got, no one likes surprises. I think everyone, and they can sort of mentally plan in your head, this is what I've got, this is how I do it, this is why we're doing it. Because I don't mind the player that comes, why are we doing this? At least you know they're engaged and interested. Then you can go, we're doing this because like last week during our game, we just kept going on down the line. We want to learn to go, switch or go to the 40 to 45. So that's why we're doing this, get back off the mark, hit the 45 kick. Or we're doing this tackling drill because last week we've got so many tackles going up. the junior, you know, all right, well, we had good opportunities, we missed lots of goals. So we're going to do this goal kicking drill, you know, we do some on the run and some snaps. So always have a why, have it related to the game. Cool.
I think we might draw to a close there, folks. So thank you. It's been a really great session. You know, thank Ryan for the time and effort he's put in and the way he's run it. You know, I mean, you can often have these things where it's just, you know, Ryan just talks to the group for an hour and a half, you know, and you can just walk out of here with your head spinning, but it's been really great. Been in the job for 2-3 months now.
Oh, this job, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, he's brand new. This is probably the first session you've done.
Yeah.
You know, so throughout the North Coast with the cutting edge. You know, but it's also been a great opportunity for us to really give Ryan some information around what we need, how our league works. Ultimately, Ryan's probably going to know a bit more about this league than he is about many others because of his connections here. But, you know, it's a great opportunity for us to really, you know, tap into his expertise and look at how we use that moving forward to hopefully support you guys, to help you guys be the best coaches you can be, which then ultimately means that the players can be the best players that they can be. So that's what we're here for. We're here for the players. So, you know, by you guys getting better at what you do, ultimately we achieve that goal. So I really want to thank you guys for giving up your time. You know, middle of January, 3 months away from the start of footy season, and you know, people think footy starts in April, but here we are. We know it doesn't really. So, you know, appreciate everything you guys are doing. So thank you. Thanks to Ryan for the session tonight.
I'll probably do another one during the season, so be a bit more applicable.
Looking for an excuse to get the net bucket.
All right. Cool.
All right.
Recording.
Thanks to the online guys as well. Thanks for bearing with us.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Ryan.